Hello, everyone. It's Chairidee Smith, Miss Mogul. I am super excited today. Ladies and gentlemen, you are entertaining her story. Today is the inaugural show of Mogul. You all have been with me on this journey for some time now, and we are expanding the brand and our media footprint. You're tuning in today to Mogul. It's the show where business, lifestyle, and possibilities collide. I'm super excited to have you along with me. If you have not done so already, make sure you subscribe to all of our platforms. Go to mommiescreatingeconomies.com. Also, you can subscribe to the show at youcancreateyourown.economy.com. And that way you'll get all of the show's updates. You'll read more about our guests, their profiles, their awards, and the spectacular talent we have coming to the show. Now, today we have a very special guest, and I'm so excited to host her today. This kind of all started with her. My guest today is Toni Sanders. Toni is a powerhouse in the financial services industry. She's also a media personality in her own right. And just a little bit about Toni. She invited me on her show a couple of years ago, Money Matters, and I kind of got the bug there. And so I thought it was so appropriate that I would have Toni back to now break the champagne bottle, if you will, on the Mogul Show. So without further ado, I want to bring Toni into the studio, the one and the only, Miss Toni Sanders. Good morning, my friend.
Oh my goodness. Thank you. I appreciate that intro so much, Chairidee. Yes, I remember we started this. I'm so excited to be here for your inaugural. Man, this is going to be powerful, you guys. You need to make sure you're tuned in. Share this, share this, share this, because it's going down this morning. What's up, lady? You're looking good.
And I'm loving me some you, okay? Thank you. I'm so excited, Toni, for a couple of reasons. One, this is a very important conversation we're going to have today about finances, about investing, especially now. I brought you on the show because I really believe that people relate to you. You are conversational, you're relatable, but more than that, you bring content. You have a wealth of resources, and you're not just a fly-by-night. I want to mention, too, you're an award-winning business owner. Sales through the roof. You've helped hundreds and thousands of people here in this market, and I would say in other markets. So I couldn't think of a better person to speak to all of this than you. So enough about me and about me gushing on you, because I can gush on you all day because I'm loving you. But I want you to tell us, Toni, first of all, introduce yourself to our audience. Who are you? What are you all about?
Awesome. Well, thank you, Chairidee, so much. Again, it's my honor and my pleasure to be here with you this morning. Again, my name is Toni Sanders. I'm a certified financial educator, licensed financial professional in multiple states. And I'm just simply here to help people, manage and understand money and how money works. I believe that we're highly educated, we're professionally successful, but unfortunately, we're financially illiterate. So, if we're going to build wealth and we're going to do some things to change the narrative, it starts with having a plan. So I am so excited to dig in today. I don't really want to gush on myself either, because it's not about me. It's about the lives that I'm going to change. So that's what it's all about. How many people am I going to touch? How many lives am I going to change? I tell you one thing I will leave is my footprint on how many people I've helped when I'm no longer here. They will never, ever forget me and the information that I've applied to their lives, and it will leave a legacy for generations to come.
So there's a saying that says people don't care how much you know. They only want to know how much you care. And
Absolutely.
it shows up in the awards, right? You have the awards, you have the accolades, you have all of that. But it really is, Toni, about the lives that you touch. That, again, that's the reason why I had you to come and speak to this topic. Now, before we get into too much of the show, I want people to know a few things about you. You have an entrepreneurial story that started some years ago. So I know you were a hairdresser, and I mean, you have just always had the entrepreneurial bug. So when it comes to money and creating money, creating systems of income, creating wealth, this was a natural matriculation for you, right?
Absolutely.
It was just
Absolutely.
a natural connection and a natural growth process. And so I think it's important that people know that, because sometimes we have people who listen to these shows and they say, oh, she's just talking from theory only. She just studied and had the license. No. Toni
Mhm.
has walked this thing out, the ups, the downs. You've rolled out markets in the up markets, down markets. You know this as a business owner, not just as a financial planner. And so I think that's important, because people need to know you're relatable, right?
Absolutely.
Your
Absolutely.
successes can absolutely be their successes too.
Absolutely. And you know what? I'm glad that
Yeah,
you
go
brought
ahead.
that up, Charity, because you know what? I tell people this all the time. You know, it's not where you start, it's where you end. And so even though your start may not be where my start was, yes, I've been a business owner for more than 26 years. I made a lot of money in my lifetime, but it wasn't until I stopped and I started, you know, really understanding money and how money works that I really took advantage of everything that's out there for us. And I think that's the reason why people, you know, don't take advantage of the opportunities that are available to them, because they just don't know. And it's not their fault. I'll be the first one. If I can be transparent, I come from a family that we didn't talk about money. You know, it wasn't talked about at the dinner table. I come from a mother who had 4 kids by the age of 25, who was on welfare, but I knew I needed a better life. I knew that something was in me that was greater than where I was. So I did not let, you know, my past dictate where I was going to go in the future. You know, I had a boss one time, Charity, and she said, you know what? She did my annual review and she said, you really need to be working for yourself. And I took that to heart. So I took
Yes.
what I love to do and I created a business. I remember going to a class one day, Charity, and he says, you know what, find something that you love to do and get paid to do it. So I would do this regardless if I got paid or not. So that's where, you know, my passion comes from, and that's where it is. Where I am, where you are, everybody has that opportunity to do there. But you've got to make a decision in your life that you're going to change and that you're going to, you know, take the right path, because we can all get off track. But can you get back on track and follow your dreams and follow your goals and make things happen, not just for you, but for our community, for your children, and for this country as a whole?
Ooh, I'm loving this. And so here is why. First of all, so much of what you said there is so important. Let me pick some of the pearls out of all of that. You talked about humble beginnings. And what that says to me is that you are now removing the excuses
That's right.
from anybody and everybody not having a financial plan, a financial goal, and a financial legacy. The excuses are being removed. So for a daughter of a mother who was on welfare, had humble beginnings, to now be here training people across the country about money, says something about a few things. It says something about the possibilities that are
Mhm.
available. When the right desire meets the information, wonderful things can happen. And I love what you said about it doesn't matter where you start. It's about that journey to where you want to go and where you end. And as long as you take it step by step, process by process, you get there. And I love this about you, Toni. You're teachable and you teach, right? You're teachable and you teach. And if you had not heard those admonishments, if you will, Toni, you don't need to be working for someone else. You need to be working for yourself. And for that to then take root in your spirit and you start to now grow that vision into this multifaceted brand that you have now, it says that anything is possible. And so,
Absolutely.
you know, we talk about the American dream, whatever that is. I prefer a personal vision instead of the American dream. What do I mean by that? The American dream may not be attainable for everybody, but if I have a personal vision for myself, and if I get the right information, I can make that personal vision for my life come true. And so I have this mantra where I say, every woman can be a mogul. Every man, every woman, every daughter, every son, with the right information and a desire to have a different outcome, everyone can have this success story that you're talking about, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. And I love what you just said, you know, with the right information, but information is just that. See, for what I do, you got to be educated. You know, I
Come
hope
on.
that they can see the sign that's behind me. It talks about 30 million, 30 by 30. Our goal with my company is to educate 30 million families by the year of 2030. But it's just
Wow.
not the information, it's the education and the implementation, because knowledge is power, but it's the application of the superpowers,
Come
which is
on.
even more powerful. Because you can teach me how to be a mogul, but if I don't apply those things to my life, I'm not going to be a mogul. Not.
That, you say something there. And there, I don't know if it's a Chinese proverb or an African proverb, but it says, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. Now, I don't know about you, but I got chills on that. When the student is ready, the teacher will appear. When you have a desire to create wealth, and I'm not just talking about wealth for the sake of, hoarding things on ourselves. Everything that we talk about, Toni, is always about legacy and community and helping other people and going outside of ourselves to
Right.
have a lasting reach. That's really, in my opinion, my humble but forceful opinion, that is what wealth is all about. It's not just about the nice earrings or
Yes.
that stuff that fades away. But scripture tells us that what is not seen is what's eternal. It's the impact that we have on people internally, and then they go out and impact their community. That's the real legacy. But here's the thing, Toni, we can't do that without money.
Hello. You know what's, Charity? Somebody told me this. They said, honey, Toni, money ain't everything. I said, yes, it is, because if it wasn't, everything would be free. But everything is not free. So you have to have the money, pick your poison, to have or to have not. And that's the difference between those who have and those who have not. We can all have. It doesn't matter about who you are, where you come from, or what you do. You still need it. We still need to be able to obtain it. One thing I want to go back really quickly, and then I want to move forward. I love what you said, because you know what? In our community, I'm not a winner unless my whole community is winning. And my community is not winning. So I must go out. It is my duty to be a vessel and to be a resource to my community. They don't have to do what I do, but they must know what I know.
So let's unpack that for a minute, because that's loaded. That's loaded. So you said that I don't win unless my community wins. Let me throw a few statistics out there. Because now you're getting into my place where I like to come on with it, right? The wealth gap for women and for people of color is still very dismal, right?
Yes.
So my whole mission has been trying to show women how we can close the achievement gap. To this day, only 80 cents on the dollar most women earn in corporate America. Okay.
Absolutely.
Then when you break that down according to race, it gets more and more dismal. African Americans, about 60%. Asians are doing a little bit better. They have 90%. White females, 80%. Hispanic females, 50% on the dollar. So when you break it down according to race and class, it becomes more dismal. But that's in corporate America. Here is what I hear you say. I'm hearing you say that when you take now the helm of your finances and your career path, if you start a business instead of this, again, I'm putting words in your mouth, but I think we agree. Toni, if we burn the corporate ladder and build bridges, wealth is closer to being attainable. We get closer to closing that achievement gap. I'm not saying everybody should just go out and leave their job, but it's a proven fact that wealth is created with entrepreneurialism. And when you have residual income coming in, you now have the capacity to save. So many women I hear and people of color that I talk to say, I don't have enough to save. But how are you allocating your money? We're not going to get into a judgment, a bashing situation, but how are you allocating it? It's where you put your priority. I guarantee you, when people sit down with you, Toni, they're amazed at what they do have. Right? They'll come saying, well, I don't have this and I don't have that. But when they sit down and do an assessment of what they really have, they find out that they have more resources than they thought. It's just a matter now of tweaking, one, where you place them, and two, how you generate them. Now, I'll tell anybody, if you want to know how to place money, talk to Toni. You want to know how to generate it, talk to Miss Mogul. With the two of us, it's a win-win scenario. And that's what I'm hearing, Toni. People need generational wealth, and it comes with entrepreneurship, but we need to know how to place the money.
Absolutely.
where to place it, how to leverage it. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, repositioning is very, very important. Let's start with here first. Most people don't have their financial house built properly. And when I'm talking about your financial house, I'm talking about protection. You got to have protection against your life, health, and disability, because the ability to make money, that's what it's all about. Now, then you have to control your debt, live on 70% of your income. The other 30%, you should be giving, saving, and investing. But we're not doing that. We're living on 100% and our debt is out of control. And then emergency fund. We've been in this pandemic for over a year now, and 40% of people don't have $400 saved for an emergency. Ladies and gentlemen, that is a problem. You must save.
Epidemic.
You must save. Yeah, you must save at least 3 to 6 months of living expenses so that when this happens, you will be okay. But prior to this, people were already in trouble. Prior to the COVID-19, you cannot blame it on the pandemic. You were already in trouble prior to this pandemic. Now, you know what I'm telling people, Charity? Instead of 3 to 6 months, you make sure you have 6 to 12 months of a living expenses, because if this hasn't taught us anything, is that we need to be better stewards of our money.
So
then the roof on the house is the investments. Learn how to make your money make money. We all go to work every day and we make money, but we don't know how to make our money make money for us. So again, that financial house, so if you're living in a house, Charity, you're a realtor, you understand this. If you sell someone a house, they don't ever get a house built from the roof to the ground. It starts with the foundation, ladies and gentlemen. You have to have a solid and a firm financial foundation. That's what holds everything together. You got to have a budget. Budget is not restrictive. It's just giving your dollars an assignment. So that's exactly what I do. I get
that. Hold on, wait. Go back, because I mean, you're giving it to us like a fire hose. Because you hit some points there. You hit some points. Budgeting is not restrictive. It's assigning dollars. It's giving those dollars purpose and meaning. So we don't ever have to say now money is there's nothing worse than hearing people say money is running through my hands. That it shouldn't. We should be a conduit of wealth. Now, a conduit is something different. A conduit is something that holds energy and moves energy from one place to another, right? For a positive outcome. That's quite different from saying money is running through my hands. And for you to say, Toni, that the average American family, now, I don't know if you've broken this down, but I've looked at the statistics. White families tend to have more discretionary income than most Black families or families of color, not just African-American families, but families of color. And so with that being said, we have to now start to look at our dollars differently. So if you're only earning 60 cents on the dollar, if you're only, oh goodness, we lost you there. There we go. If you're only earning 50 cents on the dollar, your money has to be strategic to get you out of that place of limitation, right? And here's the thing. It doesn't matter what you start with as long as you start. I'm always put scripture in there, right? If we give our loaves, our 2 fish and our 5 loaves, right? That's in that whole giving and philanthropy and saving. It doesn't matter what you start with, but when that feeding situation finished, Christ came back with 12 baskets. All right, I'll put the scripture reference in the show if y'all want it. Here's the point I'm making. It doesn't matter how much you start with. It has the potential to multiply in the right hands. Now that'll preach in the church and on the screen. Come on, it doesn't matter what you start with as long as it's in the right hands. Skilled, capable, informed hands. And your money will grow. It's girl, you got me on a tangent. Now, it's a misnomer to say that we can't be wealthy. We can't be financially stable, or we can't be financially wealthy, or that we die and there's no legacy. Not true. Toni, as a single parent, if you don't mind me testifying for a minute, as a single parent, I've been able to set up a trust. Well, let me not put all my business out there because I am divorced. Hello, somebody. We in Texas. Let me back up. But let me tell you this. It's possible. Even with a pandemic, you can change this. Talk to Toni. Even with COVID-19 restricting how you move and what, you can change this. Information applied is power. If anybody's out there taking notes, write that one down. Information applied is power. Take it over from here, Toni.
You know what? Let me say this too. I love what you said about your kids, because I tell people all the time, if you don't do it for you, do it for your legacy. Do it for the kids. Do it for the people that you say you love. See, I don't believe that we cannot do anything. We can do anything that we put our minds to it and just take action. And now is the time. I believe the pandemic gave us an opportunity to hit that reset button, get your lives together. You know, I took it as a point that, hey, Toni, this is your time to really excel and move forward. And I thanked him for everything that happened during the pandemic. See, and again, you have the money. See, we make money. It's not about that we don't make any money. It doesn't matter how much you make. It's about how much you save and how much you can keep. But we are the #1 consumer, but we're the worst saver and investor. We have no discipline and we're not consistent. That's what we have to change. We have to start there first. The education is a must, because I can't teach you and you're not going to understand if I'm telling you something to do, but you steady fighting me. No, I want to do it this way, but I'm telling you what's best from a professional standpoint. I'm telling you what's going to work. Create a plan. If you don't have a plan, you plan to fail. Get a budget. Get into some education. We offer educational workshops on increasing cash flow and debt management. Everybody needs that. You know, building a strong financial foundation and proper protection. Everybody needs that. Remember, that's the ground floor of your financial house. You've got to understand how wealth works and how to accumulate cash and, you know, retirement planning, wealth preservation. People say, Toni, I'm not going to retire. But have you ever thought about if you can't continue to work? What if you get sick? What if you have a long-term care incident that happens and it allows you to say, you know, hey, I got to stop working, and you don't have a plan. You didn't start saving any money. See, the younger you start saving, thank you, Holy Spirit. You know what? We need to start with our kids, because it's a wealth formula. The wealth formula is money plus time, a good interest rate minus taxes and inflation. When the kids are young, it takes a little bit of money because they have so much time. We get older, we're older. So it's going to take a lot more money because we have less time.
Yes.
We're losing time, and time is equivalent to money. You got to take advantage of it. And so that's important that people understand that and they apply that to their lives. See, knowledge is power, but it's the application of knowledge which is even more powerful. Chairidee, I cannot be honest. People just don't have the tools. You need the tools, ladies and gentlemen.
For sure.
You know why other people do it? I'm going to tell you. Can I be real? Can I be real? See, my members and my counterparts and, you know, other people out in the community, I'm going to call them the clear people, and I love them too. But let me tell you something. Clear people are very smart. They don't buy their kids things. They write them checks. We have to start writing our kids checks so that they can have a better life than what we have. Each generation should set up the next generation for success. It's okay what they did in the past. They did the best that they possibly could do. But now, ladies and gentlemen, it only takes one. It only takes one. And that one could be you, to change not only your life, but your family's life, the way your legacy looks. This is your opportunity. But it starts with you getting educated. It starts with you applying principles and concepts to your life that can change for generations to come. You know, let's go back to where, you know, Chairidee was saying, you know what? You know, I work, I'm tired. I hear this all the time, Chairidee. I'm tired. I can't start a business. Oh, but you'll go build somebody else's from 9 to 5. You better start building your own business from 6 to 10. Stop building somebody else's dream and build your own. Now is the time.
So, Toni, we have this saying, first of all, preach, woman, preach. Preach, woman, preach. We have this saying in the Mommy's Creating Economies community, you can create your own economy. You said something there that I hope people who are taking notes are really listening to. It's not about giving your child an allowance because they don't really appreciate what's happening, that transaction. A friend of mine, Maria Simone, says that money is energy and it moves wherever it's invited to move. Mm-hmm. Now, that makes sense to me, especially if you think about debit cards and credit cards. It's not really tangible, but you swipe it, move it, and the money travels to the intent. When we think about now taking wealth and knowledge and then giving that as a gift to our next generation, why not bring your child along when you're working that 9 to 5 or that 6 to 10, as you call it? Involve your children. Why? We need to develop now an appreciation for the energy it takes to generate it. And then we need to see how it's assigned. So many of us don't know how to assign purpose to that effort. We're good at working for somebody else, but then we give that assignment to that energy to your 9 to 5. So whoever owns the 9 to 5 just assigns your energy, just assigns your life, just assigns your genius to their purpose, not yours. Ooh, girl, you stirred me up. So here is why we need this. It's about creating now a system and a culture. Come on, let's go back to Black Wall Street, where we owned businesses and where we owned restaurants and doctor's office and dentist office and grocery stores, and we had an ownership of that, and that circulated in the community. Absolutely. Now, while I'm not saying other people can't do it, what I am saying in this particular conversation, we can't, it's like this, Toni. You can't save in air flights to tell you this. You can't save anybody else until you put on your own gas mask.
That's right.
If the plane is going down, don't turn to save somebody else. You need to put it on, save yourself first, and then go save somebody else. So it's kind of that urgency when it comes to our economic power. We have, if you look at African-American, I guess our show just took a turn. When you look at the African-American spending dollar, and if you look at our GDP, right? If you looked at us as a GDP, as an economy, we're like maybe third or fourth in the world. When you look at that in the diaspora, I'm sure the numbers get larger. Here is my point, to your point. We have the money.
We have the money.
We have the capacity to even generate the money. We're genius at what we do. What we have a gap though in, Toni, is assigning that energy to us, assigning that genius back to us, assigning that effort back to our children. I love what you said about writing checks, because as a business owner, I can write that off. I can claim that salary. And so then I can teach my son and daughter, I hope y'all taking notes out there. Then I can teach my son and daughter the power of writing off taxes. Come on, we talk about Mr. Trump, but this is one thing we have to give Mr. Trump credit for. He employed his children, whether they were gifted or talented or not, is a whole nother conversation. Whether they were skilled in acumen or not, another conversation. But here is what he gave us. He gave us a blueprint, Toni, for involving the family in the wealth process. Thank you, Mr. Trump. Now, I'm going to get in a whole lot of trouble about that. That's okay. I can stand my ground. That's something he gave us. Now, we're not talking about him as a president. That's a whole nother show, and it'll be for adults only. And I can't put an R on this show. It'll be mature only. I have my own opinion about that. But what I do appreciate seeing, in all honesty, is how he involved his children in the process. Whether you call his system corrupt or not, the children now know how to generate it the way their daddy did.
Absolutely.
Boom.
That's
so
very
he gave them that's the point. That is the point. So we have to involve families.
That's all about that transfer.
It's that energy we talked about, right? And I'm not getting into some new age, but here's my point. That effort, the intellectual property, the intellectual power it took to generate the action that generated wealth or generated a salary has to go somewhere.
Absolutely.
There was something that was, it's almost like internally it came up and we generated it. But now where do we direct it? We've got to direct it back to knowledge, and then putting that knowledge with applied, power with applied knowledge. That's what I'm getting at. So very important. And really, Toni, that's how we create wealth. When we keep that energy and we keep that effort circulating. Absolutely. And then we scale the effort with our investments, with laying the foundation. Now we get into trust, and we get into insurance, and we get into wills, and we get into tax write-offs, knowing that now trusts are not taxed the same way, right, as your LLC is, or as your business is. Come on, talk to us about it.
You know, I want people to know that it starts, again, I'm going to say this, you got to have a plan. It's okay that you don't know the information, but now the resources are available. I told you at the beginning that the resources weren't available to our family and our grandparents, but now the resources are available for you to take advantage of. But you know what people say, Charity? They say, Toni, I'm good. Why be good? Why not be great? I want to be amazing.
For sure.
But it starts with me, because you cannot teach your children something that you don't know. And it's apparent that we don't know it. Now, I love everybody. Don't get me wrong, but I'm going to say this, and I'm going to stand by what I say. See, other people will start businesses in the community, and they will take our dollars back to their community. Hello, somebody. Start a business, support, what's going on in our community, but we got to open our eyes and we got to pay attention to what's going on. It's not about that we don't have the money. We have the money, but we choose to spend it in the wrong places. Now, I know you can say, Toni, I can spend my money anywhere I want to. Absolutely, you can. However, if we are going to build something incredible in our community, if we want to change and bridge the wealth gap, if we're going to change the narrative, we've got to buy Black, we got to build Black, we got to support each other, and we've got to do some things that we never thought we'd have to do before. If they did it once, we can do it again. And again, I keep saying this, now is our time. And if you don't do it now, when will you do it? Be the change that you want to see. And I want to see change. But I have to go back, Chairidee. It always starts with education, because I can't help anybody until they're willing to change their mindset and willing to put in the work, because it's a process. It's nothing, it's no get rich quick schemes. It's nothing like that. You got to put in the work. Are you ready to work?
Toni, I figured this would happen. I just didn't know it would happen this fast. We have gone clean over 30 minutes. So we are there, my friend. In closing, here's what I want you to do. I want you to speak to all of our listeners, because this show is going not just here in the US, this show is around the world now. If you could leave a parting bit of advice, a pearl is what I call them. Come on, in the South, we like pearls. If I could get you to leave us a pearl of wisdom about wealth generation and about legacy building, leave our listeners with something they can carry away with them today.
Absolutely. So what my takeaway would be for you all is to get a plan. You cannot do anything without a plan. Without a plan, you plan to fail. And I know that there's nobody wanting to fail intentionally. Again, the resources are available for us. Let's get educated. We already are highly educated. We're professionally successful, but we are financially illiterate. Let's change that. Let's bridge the wealth gap. It starts with you. And so make that decision today that you're going to change your life, and it will happen. You speak into an existence. You act as if it already was, and stop, allowing people to put labels and things on us that we're not. It doesn't matter where you are today. You can change your life just by making the right decision. So I'm always here to support Chairidee however I can.
Where do people find you? How do people connect with you?
Absolutely. Well, I'm all over social media. So look for your girl, Toni Sanders. I'm on Instagram, LinkedIn, and of course, Facebook is my favorite. But let me tell you something. Call me. I don't mind you calling me, texting me. You can call me. Number. Yeah, call me at 281-898-4018. I always answer. I'm very good with communication. And let me tell you something, for those out there listening, I got a gift for you, okay? Because I believe that, knowledge is in a book, but unfortunately, we don't read it. You got to pick it up and read it. So dust some books off and get to reading, get to listening to some audios. But I have a special gift for those who do want to get in contact with me. This is 86 pages. Let me make sure I'm putting it right here. Saving your It is 86 pages of the basic principles of financial education for everybody to change their lives, okay? So I have several books, several things that can change your life, but you got to use them. You got to apply it to your life. Get a plan. Join our workshops. Be a part of this campaign to be a part of the 30 by 30 to educate 30 million families by the year of 2030. My whole goal is how many people in my community can I get to be a part of that? Again, you don't have to do what I do, but you must know what I know. Chairidee, I thank you for allowing me to come on here today. We got to do it again, because I didn't even realize 30 minutes, it went by so fast. Yes, it
Listen,
is.
and for all the folks who want these resources, let me tell you, I even have some of Toni's resources, okay? For everyone who's here today, if you will RSVP, even though you've watched this already, go to youcancreateyourown.economy.com. You'll see Toni's show there. RSVP, give us your email address. We'll make sure that Toni gets all of those documents, those books and resources to you. And listen, y'all, it's time to go to school. It's
Mhm.
time to educate ourselves and become more financially literate, because when we become literate in finances, we become versed in wealth. I just came up with that. I just came up with that. I
But
just
it's
came up
kind
with
of
that.
good. You go,
I
girl.
just came up with that. Listen, Toni, always, I appreciate you. Thank you for what you're doing in the community. Thank you for the lives that you change. You really do have bootstraps on the ground every day, going into communities, going into homes, coming into lives, and help to redirect the trajectory of something that could be tragic. You're coming in with lifesavers. We appreciate you. Everyone, thank you so much for tuning in today. If you haven't already, make sure you give lots of likes and shares to the show, and also subscribe to the show at youcancreateyourown.economy.com. Also, we have a fan page on Facebook. Go to Master Your Morning with Miss Mogul. Hit the likes, hit the shares, share this content. This is just the beginning. So if this is the inaugural show, baby, it's blowing up from here. My God, you have set the bar so high, Toni, for all the guests to come after you. Trailblazer, you already know that. I appreciate you.
Oh, thank
Thank
you.
all of you for tuning in today. And also, listen, if you are in the market now for real estate information, real estate education, you want to grow your finances so you can have the capacity to really scale. Make sure you go to mommy'screatingeconomies.com. We have online classes there that are available, self-study, taught by myself. You will get the acumen you need to do that. Also, if you need a mentor in real estate investing, I'd love to have that conversation with you. Go to mommy'screatingeconomies.com, hit contact, schedule a meeting with me. And listen, you all know that I'm a serial entrepreneur. I'm also connected with TLC, Total Life Changes. I love the products. Y'all see this leather dress I have on? I'm not going to stand up, but let me tell you this. She can wear a leather dress now and it don't snug her too much. Come on now. No sweating in all the places, you understand. So I love the products, but I also love what they're doing for my residual income. If you want more information about that or cryptocurrency, threw that in there. Let me know. Everything goes to mommy'screatingeconomies.com. We'll get you set up. Toni, listen, you are the Toni Sanders. There is no other Toni like Toni Sanders. I
Mhm.
appreciate you. And look, the best is just to come for you as well. I speak blessings upon you, upon your business. May you flourish, may you grow and prosper. And just know you've changed a lot of lives today. I'm one. God bless.
Thank you. Take care.